Assalamu alaikum, dear student. On previous session, we have talking about how can teacher use knowledge of classroom management and create opportunities, good opportunities for students to interact in meaningful ways. We have talking about teacher talk and question talk. Today we have setting up classroom activities. In setting up classroom activities, we have in order to manage and promote interactive classroom, we also need to know how to arrange a variety of classroom activities. So we will talk about classroom activities, how to make how to manage and promoting classroom activities. Here we have different examples about. The first one is seating arrangement. If you remember, I have done in most of classes, I have done the circle classes. If you remember, I have done in your groups and divided them in different groups, A, B, C, D, or 1, 2, 3. If you I have done in your classroom. Okay, here you have seat arrangement on page 86. And if you turn the page, you will find how the students are arranged in circles, or maybe 2 or 3, or maybe more than. Which shows that we have choices as to how we have the students sit in the class. These arrangements also imply that we have choices about the activities students do in the classroom. They can sit in traditional seating arrangement or semi-circle during teacher class discussion or lectures. Here we are. The student stand up and walk around as they study. For example, to memorize line in a poem, they can move their chairs to sit alone or in groups where they working on a task. Or maybe they can sit face to face, for example, in interview, like what they make it in interview, or make it in semicircle, for example. Okay, here we have or making telephone conversation if they have. These are types of activities: interviews, telephone conversation, or dialogues. These activities in order to solve a problem and discuss some of issues and make the student interaction. Okay. And collaborate on the piece of writing, maybe on writing and reading. We have many skills. They can also move around the class in the activity of role play. And these are why we can't change the seat of the student. Here we have a question. The goal is to provide lots of chances for the student to use English to communicate meaning. We need to feel free to create seat combination that make this possible. Okay, if you go to the other page, you will find that another aspect of set up the classroom activities is how we group students a variety of ways. We have the one way. This is the first point. One way is to select students in advance of the class based on personality, characteristics or ability and experience. For example, a shy student can be matched with the shy or with the talkative student, and the fluent student with those who are or are not fluent. Students can make their own decisions about which group to join. The student can decide. Also, you can give the student free to decide which group they give this decision, which group they want to join. Okay, according to the different, depend on the according of different characteristics, or maybe month of the birth date. You can also group the student randomly in order to make it groups. The student can also cut pictures or proverb into pieces like puzzles and make these pieces out of randomly in order to choose by the students. Okay, this is kind of activities. This way of forming groups can also be icebreakers, a way to reduce students' anxiety about the speaking in English. This is kind of activity that makes the student can speak in English without shyness, and break the their shyness, okay, or anxiety. If the goal is to form pairs and the students sitting next each other pair up, this kind of student can be done randomly or pair up through the pairing techniques, and make the student, in order to find, this is another kind of activities that can be matched between picture and pairing. The techniques can be useful for them. Okay, if you go to the some ways, okay, before that we have here giving instructions. This is a new topic. Giving instructions, the way the teacher, how can teacher give instruction to the student and keep the classroom busy with meaningful communication? Giving instructions, the way we give instruction, is another aspect of meaningful classroom. One way is to write the instruction on the board or show them on the overhead projector screen. Another language activities is dictate the instructions. So we have different ways. Some ways to give instructions include, here we have many ways in order to give instruction by teachers to give the student instruction in order to make the classroom interaction. The first one is writing down instruction verbally and giving instruction verbally and role playing them. Having student real instructions, writing down the instructions, dictating instruction, miming the instructions, whispering the instruction as the students learn forward in their seat. Okay, another topic talking about keeping student on talk. How can make your students, you are teachers, how can you make your student talking on task, keeping on task? Keeping student on task without talking between them. Some teachers believe that keeping students on task, it is an important part of providing students with opportunities for meaningful interaction. For example, while working on task in a small group, students will sometimes have their own discussion on matters unrelated to the task. However, students will sometimes use their native language during group or pair work to work through the task or talk about something else. This means that some students, when we want to make divided the classroom in order to make task between them, they are not busy in the task itself. They will talk in native language maybe, or maybe busy in something else. In order to make our student keeping on task, the teacher should be notes, or what we call it, use their native language, while the teacher is another side of the classroom, and switch back to the English as teacher gets closer. Yani if the teacher gets closer, they will talk in English. This is done by student. There are things we can do to keep student on task. What are the things that teacher can do in order to keep student on task? The instructions themselves can be important. Setting a reasonable time, we should setting the reasonable time limit for the student to accomplish the task may also keep them on task. If you give them time for all the homework, you will on the task, they will you will keep your student on task if you give them limited time without a free time. Okay, if you go to the other page, you will find that we have talking about on page 90, you will find one thing that work for me. This is example of the author give us example in order to give a student group task. If a group task was assigned to identify the traits of a good student. Each group of students would be required to write these traits, this task. It means that on the board toward the end of the lesson. It means that we give the student a task or activity in order to write down on the work, or maybe on a piece of paper, or write a small dialogue, for example. Finally, the teacher needs to stay out or away the way, letting the student work on the task. This is not always easy to do. Some teachers talk to the student while they work. Some others that included myself circling, making circle. It means that groups, listening, finally interpreting the student. Maybe sometimes the teacher may ask the groups in order to make clarify what are the question about. Maybe this is not give the student time in order to think, because they have limited time. In summary, we have some suggestions for keeping student on task. Here we have many points talking about suggestions in order to keep your student on task without busy in other word, in other something else, or talking between them in a native language. You should give the student talk always in English language in an interactive way.